good time, delivering the best.
Hold on your knees now, backers. Flick your neck wrong, backers. You ready for it now, backers? Hey, my girl, just back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, come gallant, rough me up. Hey, I say back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, rough me up. You're looking for problems. If you feel you could come and whine on me like that, yeah. Hey girl, you're looking commotion. If you feel I'm gonna let you get away like that, wrong, yeah. Girl, you're whining voodoo, bouncing that thing for me. You're whining voodoo, turn around, let me see. You're whining voodoo, where you going with that? Come back, girl, come back, girl, come back. My girl, just back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, come gallant, rough me up. I say back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, yeah, rough me up. Watch that, watch the softness, backers. Watch the rudeness, backers. Watch the whining there, backers. Y'all put it on there. Watch the softness, backers. Watch the rudeness, backers. Watch the whining there, backers. Like you on your own plan, coming on me and whine on me like that, yeah. But girl, you looking commotion, 'cause I ain't letting you get away like that, wrong, yeah. Girl, you're whining voodoo, bouncing that thing for me. You're whining voodoo, shake it up, let me see. You're whining voodoo, where you going with that? Come back, girl, come back, girl, come back. My girl, just back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, come gallant, rough me up. I say back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, yeah, rough me up. Watch that, watch the softness, backers. Watch the rudeness, backers. Watch the whining there, backers. Y'all put it on there. Watch the softness, backers. Watch the rudeness, backers. Watch the whining there, backers. Hold on your knees now, hey. My girl, just back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, come gallant, rough me up. I say back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, yeah, rough me up. Girl, you're whining voodoo, bouncing that thing for me. You're whining voodoo, turn around, let me see. You're whining voodoo, where you going with that? Come back, girl, come back, girl, come back. My girl, just back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, come gallant, rough me up. I say back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, yeah, rough me up. Watch that, watch the softness, backers. Watch the rudeness, backers. Watch the whining there, backers. Y'all put it on there. Watch the softness, backers. Watch the rudeness, backers. Watch the whining there, backers. My girl, just back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, come gallant, rough me up. I say back it up, 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 back it up. Rough me up, yeah, rough me up. Watch that.
Welcome to our house. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Hard to Hate Me. My name is Camille, aka Cams. This is
Tiffany, aka Opinionated Diva.
Okay, and
this is Twanty.
And I call them TNT because let me tell you something. Okay. Welcome, and of course we need your energy, so sit back. I hope you guys are relaxed. You're having a nice beverage. Okay, we need a lot. You can see this is more goblet-like because we're doing lots
Oh, yes.
of, you know.
Yes, cheers.
So cheers to
Happy
the few more weeks to 2020. You know, we're kind of gliding through the end. How are you doing traditionally? How are you doing?
I am, if you've been following the show, the same. I got off of work today and happy to be here. So, you know, pushing through, ready for 2021. So, all in all, good. It was okay.
Yeah, I am loving the reindeer. Well, no, not reindeers, actually.
The Christmas tree.
Christmas tree. I love, listen, last
Yeah.
week I said, I'm loving the vibe from your holiday video. You are getting into the traditional
Yes.
spirit.
So
And-
I'm a holiday person. I love, it put me in a good mood. I was able to just decorate and play, you know, soulful Christmas music with some soca in between,
Yes,
some little trap.
yes.
So yeah, like it put me in a good mood every time I go home. House smell good. I get to turn my lights
Yeah.
on. So it's,
Okay.
And
yeah.
you see it just shining through, right? You
Yeah.
have something in your home that's just like, hey,
Yes,
shine,
literally.
shine, shine.
Okay.
It's like your little, you know, nature's pet.
Yes.
Right? Right? How are
Okay.
you, Twan?
I'm good. You know, I'm
Yes.
excited. I'm excited for the holiday. I'm not as big a holiday person as Tiff, so I don't have a tree and all that set up, but I'm excited. I'm ready for the new year. I'm ready for 2021. I mean, let me not rush it.
Right.
You know,
right.
let me enjoy this.
Right, because we don't know,
Right.
you know, what
I know.
what's up the sleeves.
Okay.
You know, so we want to do that. And of course, we just had a new moon, and that signifies just a new cycle.
So then how are you then?
Oh, thank you. I almost forgot. I'm maintaining. I am grateful that I'm telling the story that I'm telling, that I'm maintaining and not another one. So I am just trying to, as I said, glide through this year. Still trying to push through on how to monetize on my gifts.
Ashe.
You
Yes,
know what I
everyone
mean?
should, yes.
And stay focused on that. So I hope that whatever comes my way, I am prepared. Okay, so I don't let myself down. Because now I'm like in a 5-way relationship. I posted that on my Instagram. I'm in a relationship with Prosperity.
Oh yes,
And
okay.
I forgot their names because they have symbols. Hold on.
Right. Okay.
Prosperity, you know, creativity, you know, happiness. I'm just, you know, it's a different vibe. So shout out to everybody on the Mixcloud, on the
Hey.
Facebook, GMGT family, and everyone that joined us, brand new, attending. Hard to Hate Me for the first time. Welcome. Okay, welcome to our house. We are here until 10 o'clock tonight. You know we about for the shits and and giggles.
What's that me this time?
We're talking
The
small,
night's early.
I mean, the little small acts. We're talking small acts. We're gonna talk about. You know, our feelings so far. We're gonna go through because it's a five-part series, and we don't want to do any spoilers, anything like that. So we're gonna talk about the history behind the awakening, or what should not be awakening in Great Britain. People like to forget their history. And how we feel about it, okay? And we're gonna big up the Mangrove 9, and shout out to all of the West Indian pride, okay, who made presence. Finally, we have some focus on such a large scale as far as Hollywood to really focus and condense our experience and do it so masterfully, so, you know, masterfully.
Yep.
Okay, so shout out to Steve McQueen for that.
And let them know.
Yes.
I'll be looking down at the Mixcloud.
Yes.
Communicating with you all tonight.
Yes. So
Got any
how? Yes.
questions?
Tell us how you guys are doing. How you know? Well, listen. That for the topic of the show, I really have gotten through these past years with movies. I'm a movie buff. I love, you know, not promoting any these normal sites. You want me to push? Okay. All right. Sorry. My bad.
I don't have any hair, so I don't have this problem.
Living the life like it's golden. Living the life like it's golden.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Okay. Back to the new cycles.
Yes.
Small acts. Steve McQueen's 5-part series that's on Amazon, and I absolutely love it.
Have you seen all 4 or 5 parts?
Yeah, I'm halfway through the last one, and because I don't really want it to like end, so I'm just like, let me pause it because I have a lot of things on the queue. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it really signifies just, again, the willing ignorance of just forgetting the history, you know, who was there. Of course, it's always, when it comes to the movement for civil rights around the world, Black people, our Blackness, anti-Blackness movements, it's always, you know, of course, the conversations now that are pertaining to reparations, everyone's trying to kind of, at least in my opinion, pick apart, you know, who did what with what, who did the biggest impact. And that's always, you know, fragmentation is always, you know, would always follow, you know, any type of awakening. What are you guys thinking?
Well, I want to first say that don't spoil it for me either because I haven't seen it.
Right, that's why we're gonna yeah.
But I can say so that this series itself, just because I read up on the series, mixes real life events and fiction, right? So the Mangrove episode, which is the first installment. When I looked at it, because it is about, you know, Caribbeans that, you know, that were in London at the time in the 60s, at this time, late 60s.
Yeah.
And, you know, what kind of, it almost mirrors what was happening in the
Yeah,
U.S.
it really highlights
in the
police
60s.
brutality,
Right.
and over-policing and
Right.
unofficial segregation, which is similar, hello, does it sound similar?
Similar
to
Right.
what we're going
Across the
through?
Right.
Right? So,
I mean, as I was watching, I'm at the end of the first of Mangrove 9, and it was just crazy how similar the story is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then if you guys, you know, you read I don't know if you read the credits, but you saw that it didn't end there. That's just one snippet, right?
Right.
So that just goes to show you the small acts. You know, the small acts, AXE, and the small acts, ACTS, of people who really make the difference and move the needle in their community. They influence their local. They can look to their local people to be inspired. So I want to ask. That sparks me to ask a question, and maybe we could ask on the Mixcloud. Like, can you be inspired by someone else's hero? Because I'm hoping. I mean, you're not West Indian,
Right.
Right, but you get the culture, you appreciate the culture, you know, and you're worldly, as Twan. Somebody put it tonight.
Right. Well, I mean, I think you could really place any Black person in the 60s in that exact same setting, and the way that white Brits looked at Black people in that time didn't matter where we came from,
Right.
as long as we all looked to them the same.
Yeah.
So even the little snippet that I saw and what I read about it, because I can't wait till I actually see it. It's been on my watch list, which is crazy that you brought it up, that you want to speak about it. Is that a lot of our experiences are the same. However, it is different in that, you know, they're coming from, you know, Caribbean countries, right? And so there's a whole
it
other
really highlights the classism,
Right,
Because
right.
you're Black, yes, and you're kind of free-ish, but not you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's justified reasons, and there's people who are now hired to police or who take it upon themselves. What's that guy in Florida's name? Zimmerman-ish?
Yeah.
George Zimmerman.
Do you know what I mean? They were like,
Vigilantes.
you know, cops who were supposed to be hired to help the neighborhood and keep the neighborhood together decided to over-police and project their fears. And that
Crazy.
sounds familiar?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
It's happening.
but I think
today.
what's important to also remember is who did it in America. Americans didn't do it to Americans. The same people that are doing it in Britain are the ones that brought
and that brings to the question as far as being inspired by someone else's story, because let's not act like that's just only Britain. When I was watching it, I was like, wow, I am seeing this happened to me here.
Right.
So please, if you're watching it, please don't remove it and act like you're seeing someone else's story, like another country's story. That happens to West Indian Americans here in America. You know, the unofficial, like, you know, over-policing, you know, calling your cultural events or calling just your events, you know, a hazard to, you know, someone's peace. You know, this is the type of narrative that's spoken about West Indian culture and West Indian people, specifically because in in the movie there's, and even in the trailer it says, we are different types of humans. Because our virtues are not as traditional. So can you be inspired by, are you inspired by the story?
Absolutely. It was, I mean, not to give any spoilers, but towards the end of the first episode, I was super inspired by the bravery of one of the characters, and I'm like, that's how you do
All
that.
taking place in a restaurant.
Right.
Which is such a place of community for West Indian Americans. Anywhere, we always find places to gather in somebody's basement.
It's like a place of solace.
You know what I'm saying? Which is similar to the house parties and
That could have been Flatbush. Like
that was totally Flatbush.
Okay, it was
the 90s. You know what I mean? So shout out to that. I mean, that was the purpose from just my thoughts about the series so far. Just it weaving, and that's why I wanted us to really start with Mangrove 9, or even just to back it up. I remember reading an article in the New York Times about Theresa May and the big crisis with Black British people from the Caribbean. I mean, they were invited to come there to rebuild Great Britain after, like, I think it was World War II, right? So they were invited. And what happens when you have to rebuild an empire? What's the consequence? Immigration. Because you invite people to come and work to rebuild, your area, and that you're going to find these people from really rich islands, right? So you're not coming with people who feel like SHIT. You know what I mean? And you're coming from people who live in areas that are predominantly Black. So they don't really see the issue in their Blackness, but there's still an edge of that classism that where we become agents of like whiteness and we start policing each other, which is really coming out with this whole COVID situation. Right, so when I was watching it, I was like, "Wow, you look at Flatbush, look at East New York, look at that, okay? Look at Miami and events getting shut down. Look at like talking to promoters who did jail time just for having the event, organizing a gathering that people are obviously eager to go, So you can be inspired by another hero.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And that is what will really bridge the divide, the divisiveness, where we have to carve out just to connect. Because it's COVID, we kind of have to.
Right.
That's where discerning comes in. You got to make sure y'all, get y'all. That's why Hard to Hate Me is here to help us pay attention. Okay. So, anything on the Mixcloud, anything on the Facebook? Shout out to everyone that's joining us, the new audience members, the new fans. If you've I got a bunch of new followers, so thank you for everyone that's been following.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I appreciate, the curiosity or the inspo. Which one?
Both.
I want y'all to go on Hard. I'm gonna be on Hard to Hate Me more. I'm gonna be on. They're gonna have to. I'm really trying to just organize and really refocus, and so I'm gonna be on that page on Instagram. That's _ Hard to Hate Me edu, and I'll be there more because I'm really getting into it now.
No, we love it. It's a good name too.
I love it.
Very creative. Yeah, I like it.
Because who can hate you? It's hard.
Well, people do. They does. They does, and that's
weird.
fine.
There's always attempts, but are they successful?
It's
Ooh, it's fun. It's tight tonight. Cheers on that. It's always attempts, but are they successful?
Ooh.
That's why I look at failure. I'm changing how I look at just any disappointment or failures as the year closes in 2020, and this is the life coach talking. Which is, remember, everything could be used. Everything could be used if you connect to it in the right way. That's why at the top of the show I mentioned the full moon and the new moon offering you an opportunity to really spend some time with yourself and not feel bad about it. The guilt,
That's time for that.
it's over.
You know, I have zero guilt this year.
If it's yeah,
none.
right.
None. No, like I mean, I think 2020 was a year of self-reflection, and so with that, because we were all, you know, holding to our own dwellings,
Sit down with yourself.
right? So
Think a minute.
Yeah.
and then just. It's your decision is yours to make, right? There's nobody to be like, oh
Yeah.
no, or yeah, or what you think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing it, I'm
Yeah.
not doing it, or
Yeah, and the universe came and said, "Can you be used? Let's see how you can you be used? Okay, great. Let's see how you'll be used. Let's test you to see what you want.
I don't want to.
Write down what you want,
Right.
and then we'll look at it.
Right.
We'll draw some arrows and see if you really want it, and we'll have to pull out some stuff.
Yeah.
So with that said, so small acts, and in the effort of not having any spoilers, right? So I'm gonna back it up, going back to the article I read in New York Times about there was all of a sudden. This is in 2018. The article is written in 2018, but all of a sudden in Great Britain, Black, West Indian, British citizens, well, they assumed that they were citizens because they were invited here. They've been there for more than 50 years, some of them. One of the subjects in the story, he's been there more than 50 years. He's, made a life. He's now 64, 65 years old. And all of a sudden, one day, he was no longer, he didn't have legal status.
Oh, really?
He was not a citizen. They had to produce, their paperwork. And there was no paperwork because at the time, you're colonizing my country, and in exchange, you're inviting me, saying, come work. We invite you to come build the nation. And then now that I'm settled and, chain migration, I bring my family and I make a life because, hey, this is great. You know what I mean? And you're asking me for papers?
What happened with his story? Like, did he?
So, he lost, this gentleman, 64 years old, he had to produce papers, which he did not have. And so in a matter of like a couple of months, he lost his job, lost his house.
Wow.
He ended up homeless.
Oh my God.
And I think a couple of months later, Theresa May at the time had to really apologize publicly and officially because, she saw how it affected, of course, I would assume collapsed their economy because, of course, these are the workers, so-called. These are the essential workers that you now say, let me see what's happening here. Are you supposed to?
Right.
You know what I mean? Let me dissect who's really supposed to be here. But it's like, but you had my labor though. I've been here. I'm paying taxes.
And they were doing this around that time,
living-
2018, like around that. Wait, doing this around that time?
This was the story. This is the
Yeah.
effect, right?
Right.
Because just from and again, don't quote me on all certain things you could quote me on, and I will say from what I've been reading in my research, right? There are certain facts. Just like America, your government will use your fear to market you, right? So here I am thinking that the American government is marketing my fear of, me being black, and now I'm internalizing the racism, and now we have to speak to white people about how we feel. We have to pour it out. We have to couch that, and then try to feel empowered, and then watch some more black movies and feel some more hashtags, right?
And march again.
But it's really not me. I think white people need to be pissed at the government because it's your fear that they turned up. You're the one scared that your world is no longer going to look like you. You're the one nervous now that certain black people have access to, now we understand the blueprint. Shout out to Jay-Z. So someone on y'all team said, this is not right. We need inclusive. We need the talent.
I think because what you should be mad at is that they sold you a bill of dreams. Like,
That you thought it was only about you.
You really did, and
That's what happens when you're not. When you know people who are visionaries, you still need to understand the labor. You still need to understand the journey. You still need to understand. You know, when you arrive at certain places, you have to kind of. First of all, you should have read TripAdvisor first. I mean, I know TripAdvisor didn't. You know what I'm saying? You should have known what's happening. So when you arrive, you understand what's going on, and you understand how the land is set up, and who's taking care of the land, and why, and what you are observing and you think is laziness is actually respect for the space. You know, maybe people are kind of calm in the area because that's just what the land is called for. You know what I mean? You don't see them chilling. Maybe they're meditating. You know, I'm into like Nada yoga now, so it's like all about like sound and just I'm getting my life. What happened? It's getting turned up. Anyway.
Well, I will just say about Small Axe, only because I haven't seen it, but I think everyone should, is because the cinematography is amazing. Actors and actresses are amazing. And it tells a story, right? So, and I think as someone like myself, you know, Black American, you know, it's, even though I know collectively, I feel collectively that we all have, you know, some of the same, a lot of the same experiences when it comes to, you know, us being Black in this world. It is refreshing. Yeah. Even though it's a, you know, not a sad case. It wasn't a sad case, but you know,
I mean, it's
history.
It's a story that should make us sad because it's just another one added to the books. Right. So it's almost like, oh wow, you know, it's like, it's re-education for, you know, people who are of Caribbean heritage, who really, you get someone telling your story, you're like, oh wow.
Well, I didn't know that story,
right? You know what I mean?
So,
what are some comments?
Okay.
What's some comments?
So let's see. Two Belt Boss Lady. Okay, come on through here.
Come on through, Two Belt Boss Lady.
Yes. So first she says she needs your bottle and its contents. Okay, let's
Small
see.
Axe juice.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then we have a question. We have, well, first, Two Belt Boss Lady said, yes, this is not a Black people problem. It's a white people problem. They started this. Only they can end it. Black lives need to matter to white people.
Yes.
So that was her comment.
Okay, Black lives. You know what? Black lives need to matter to white people. That's like, okay. Let's stick a pin in that. Okay. What's the other comment?
And then Berthel/Hipsters25 said, how do you generate good vibes for the new year 2021?
By spending time in reflection with yourself intentionally.
That's good.
You have the time if you are thinking about that very question. You want to generate new vibe. Whatever you attract, which means you are attracting the need for a new vibe. You know, so just that thought alone, sit with that, you know, and then if you say, okay, if I'm generating a need for a new vibe, okay, what's the
vibe you're going for?
And what vibe is available? You know what I mean? I do have my new moon notes. Wow, look at that.
Let's see.
But we'll get to that. But then what's the other comment?
That was
So the new vibes. We're gonna get to that, but the other comment about Black Lives Matter.
Oh, Black Lives matter to white people.
So it's her comment saying that we shouldn't.
Well, she was seconding what we were saying. This is not a Black people problem; it's a white people problem.
Yeah,
they need to care more. You know,
and I think they should be pissed, and that's hence the reason why, as designed, not that it wasn't the intention, but you look at a lot of protests and people always complain that there's a lot more presence of white people, you know, than there are Black people, and people get upset about that. I mean, they should protest. Protest your own people.
At the one that went to go get her surfboard at the surf shop. I'm not really sure what the protest did for her surfboard when she went to go surfing.
What do you mean? Okay,
there was a Black Lives Matter protest. And they raided the surf shop in California. Okay. There was nobody Black in the surf shop. Not that Black people don't surf, because we can do it all.
And do.
But it was a dude actually. The dude was like coming out with this super gnarly surfboard. Sir, where are you going with that?
Listen, right? It's what he needs. Listen,
That is what he
it's almost
he
like
had.
looking at, remember the riots in LA? People was just grabbing stuff. Did you really need the 90-inch television? But here's the thing, you were able to get it.
And again,
I ain't saying it's right.
That
if it was
probably on eBay.
if it was a black man
Yeah.
getting a surfboard, I might be all right.
He was
with it.
giving up
Right.
his surfboard, or he was saying
No, he was definitely went and took it, and he was like, I'm about to go surfing on this
Oh,
thing.
right now, okay.
It was-
you know what, surfboards are expensive, so if he had an opportunity to cop one,
I was gonna say opportunity.
come on, that's
can't
America.
be- I
Right
can't
now,
be
what's
right
the
now.
question? You want to make money or you want to do the right thing? What's it gonna be?
That's
I did
most
the right
people
thing,
choosing. Okay.
That, I mean,
Most
I'm not
people
saying that we
choose money.
have to answer the question. I'm saying that that's typically the question in American life, or just life in general. Now that we see everyone's kind of curtain is kind of pulled back, it's like, oh wow, you're kind of struggling. Oh wow, you're not. You do need the hashtags. You do need Instagram, because everyone was complaining about social media. How many times they want to be? I'm over it. I'm over it. Now, how many hours you spend on? You need it. Why? Because that is the connection point. So if you want to generate good vibes for 2021, be real about your needs. Because while you're out there trying to generate good music, good times, you also need to recognize that you're a human being living in the culture. So it's almost like that's your duality, right? You are tapped in. You live on Flatbush, but you work in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You work in Columbus Circle, but you live in Brownsville.
Right.
You know, you become a different person once you get off that train.
Completely
Oh, yeah,
different.
Like,
I can be.
And not to do any spoilers, but in small acts you saw that. You saw the code switching. You saw it very fluently and voluntarily, because it's like, listen, that's a survival. Like, listen, I gotta get out. Over policing. When in neighborhoods in Britain at the time, I think it's the Brixton community. I'm not sure if that's everywhere. Forgive me. I'm gonna ask I'm gonna get one of my friends from London to come on. But the police would ask the community to, do neighborhood watch. So when you were seeing in the, parts of the movie, sorry, if this is sorry, just for this one, give me a pass. When you were seeing, why these black men were outside, like, interrupting the cops if they, like, would stop and frisk, blatantly messed up doing that. It's because they were, if you noticed in the movie, in one of the movies, there was like a bulletin board, and you saw the ads of what's going on. And in movies, I'm such a nerd right now. I'm about to nerd out. You see what the director, or if they're not able to say with the voices. So you'll see, like, in a song, one of the first songs in Mangrove 9 was "Try Me" by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on now, come on,
Right.
that's totally West Indian.
Come on,
and when
let's
you
do it.
saw Mangrove, it was all about, like, even if he had support, he still wanted everybody wanted a day in court. I need to say my piece. Totally West Indian.
Completely.
Justice.
Completely.
Justice. I need my justice.
He's silly. I was screaming, justice. Okay.
It doesn't matter. And he's like, yes, we can get support by the NAA. I want my day in court. Look at me. They embarrass me. I am a.
Business.
Come
I
on
pay
now.
our taxes. Honey.
You harassing me. I am eligible to be here. You brought me here.
Right.
I'm establishing a space for my people.
I'm with it.
And now you're harassing me because my food is spicy. Do
Right.
you like spicy
He
food?
said, that was real. That was
That was
really
so, like,
commentary,
wow.
And it was, but it's crazy when you. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It is.
it's
Because they're
crazy.
asking us to accept and normalize something that's like, but why are you here?
Right.
First of all, why are you on the block?
We're gonna talk about this again. I feel like with a recap after we do watch it,
Yes.
audience, because clearly someone is ahead of us. On this thing.
Listen. Again. Okay, so we're gonna pan out. This is about, and getting back to Berthel's comment about newer energy. This is the lower energy. This is the squeezing. It's like how you squeeze out the end of a toothpaste. That's what 2020
I can
is
do
doing.
it.
It's like, what else is in there? Do I need to squeeze out? You know what I'm saying? It's like
Oh, they got some questions tonight.
questions.
Honey.
What's the questions?
All right, so Over-policing killed the Labor Day parade.
Of course.
Two-belt boss lady. Then Berthel hipsters. Knowing that Biden has been named president for the 100, do you think America should be worried about what the crazy orange dude is going to do? Then two-belt boss lady said we need to worry about the Russians.
Well, there's
Two-belt boss lady. Who is that?
There's that.
Two-belt boss lady. Listen,
great.
because you know what? That's the pip. You see those little? That's what you highlight, and that's what the moon does. The moon's like, yeah, but there's a little speckle right there that we need to kind of look at. Right now, the subtle movements of Russia, and we ain't trying to get shut down. We're trying to go. That's a different show.
Okay.
But you have to pay attention. We have to be so observant right now. We have to be hawks. If you feel like somebody in your life, it feels like you asking too much questions, they are ops. Okay? Because you're supposed to be asking questions. Just the fact that you got my vote, I'm going to be like, so what is this here? You know when parents don't know the math, so they be like, so what is this?
What is it? Okay.
I just give that.
I need to see how you arrived at that, sir.
Right.
Don't just show me the answer. How, which is totally West Indian, by the way. How did you arrive at that?
Well,
I know 101 is 2, but how? How did you know what? How did you know to add?
You know, I think one. I mean, we know what 45 is going to do. Like we already know. Like he's going to go off the rails. I'm pretty sure during the inauguration, he pretty much is going to have a rally
for
2024.
Right to the T.
He's going to do something.
He's squeezing the last bit out of the toothpaste.
And you know, with the Russians, just to go on that, which is it's not funny. It's not funny actually. But
okay, yes, all right.
The misinformation that is out there, that when you don't even recognize that you don't see it, and then you start again because you have social media. So you have WhatsApp. You got a WhatsApp chat, like 100 people in there, right? And then you put this article in there that is blatantly false. When I say blatantly false.
Right.
And in my mind, because you know I'm respecting you forwarding information. Am I really trusting something from somewhere called worldstar.com and not Worldstar Hip Hop? Because they have a leg to stand on.
Again, that's why it's important to zero in. You see all the
But they were a Russian website.
You see all the Zooms that y'all on? And y'all are like looking, you want to be so close, so you're like, Zoom is not enough. I need to touch you. Deal with it, that's what we have. But use the Zoom to really you see the fine print? Remember Samora had that joke, like she wished that when she would date guys, when they pass, she wanted to see the fine print, like the Blockbuster, but I need to see the credits in the back. Okay. You know what I mean? You really have to watch the news report, but read
the fine line.
The thing that's going, the news report that's going around.
And when you look at the news, and I always say this because I actually love the news.
Right.
But it's like, if you think about it, right? It's like a 2-minute segment on something that's taken years to happen. But they give you 2 minutes and they expect you to really take that 2 minutes of information and make an educated decision on that. That
they've been up since 2 a.m. cutting and slicing and going over. Again, not discrediting the news, because again, we're also presenting, we also talk about the topics that we're presenting. We also know what angles we're trying to get to, right? So, again, small acts.
Take me at face value. That's all I have to give. Don't quote me, please don't. Just enjoy me, because I'm okay
to quote you because I know how you research things.
Well,
and I'm underlining you right now. If I had a headlight, I'd be like, excuse me.
Okay.
She's single, y'all. Smart. Saucy. Look at me.
I'm a cat lady. Don't even try to come near me. I'm a whole cat lady. Okay. You know that about me too.
I just want to give you some credit, Tiffany. Like, if you say some certain things, Tiffany, you know, when it comes to knowing your lane, that's good. I know my lane. When it comes to research and knowing just the format, I'm like, okay, if you say certain things about something, I'm going to trust it. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be like, well, Tiffany's going to look it up. But you're a prompt for me. Just like you, when it comes to vetting research, it's like, well, that did say an N. Is that an N or a N?
It's called the rabbit hole. Okay, I have nothing but time.
We go down rabbit holes.
It's nothing but time.
Wait a minute. But wait, what's that?
And hard to hate me if you just be joining us. We don't shame you because you go down rabbit holes.
No.
Why?
We love a rabbit hole.
I do.
Listen, a zone is a zone.
Okay.
Okay?
Ooh.
A zone is a zone.
Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now,
They had phase 1, phase 2. What phase we in New York right now? That's
Child, we back at zone that phase
listen,
1.
and I feel for the restaurant owners. So big shout out for the black business restaurant owners that are really trying to be strategic to keep their business going, and having to consider letting go staff for the people that have been let go. Know that it's not a constellation, but they've been calling this a recession for a very long time. Right after they're calling something recession, it's always very zero tolerance for what you're doing at your job, and they will clip you at the moment. You know, and that's like the professional person talking. Like, hopefully you do trust me and can quote me on that. They are looking to make sure that everyone, you know, because now it's going to be expensive to be an employee. You know, we may have to give you a computer, pay for your phone bill. There's a lot of issues going on in the workplace where you see just how much they just kind of harvest your energy, and they really just if they give you just a place to sit down, that's just, and they expect you to be okay with that. They don't expect you to have any other time besides your lunch hour to take care of your well-being. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And then even if you go back all empowered, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that they know I have office hours between this time and this time, and I'm not whatever job. Like, this is my role. If I gotta, even if you're in the mail room, whatever, this is my time to work. Who disrespects your time? Who be walking up to your cubicle when they know?
All the time.
Come on.
Child.
They find a way to do it too, working from home. It's really weird.
Who's interrupting your peace even though you're working remotely? Who is finding an opportunity?
I would give her name, but I can't. Even though she's probably not.
It's an op. That's an op. Okay? Because here's the thing. They have to know, how do I assess your productivity?
Well, this is the problem that I think a lot of organizations and managers and leadership in general made the mistake of doing on being behind the ball about telecommuting and working from home. Because they made the mistake that working from home meant you weren't being productive. Right? Because they couldn't
that was the narrative, right? Because the people who work from home were like moonlighters, or like people who kind of sold shady stuff.
So untrue.
That kind of translated.
Yeah.
Again, discernment is really important. Which thought are you going to pick? If you want to generate, going back to Bertha's question, if you want to generate a new vibe, what thought are you going to pick? If you're going to pick a thought that's going to rush you to make a decision, take away your options, or only give you two options, because people love to put you in the binary. It's either yes or no. Are you gonna love me? It's either yes or no. I don't. Is like in there?
Right.
Because I don't like you. when do I get the time off from the relationship because I kind of hate you?
Right.
You know, I've been in the park.
Yeah.
You know? So again, that's what you have to look for. People who want to claim your energy that's not theirs, as in what I think about me. Why are you infringing on what I think about me?
Right. Because of what they think about them. Because of what they think about them.
But don't we all know those, you know,
no, not
cliche, but we hear it. Yeah. We choose what we internalize. Because you could internalize the quote, you know, what you think about me is what you think. What's that quote? What you think about me is what you think about yourself, or whatever, right? As above, as above, down so below, right? Yeah. It's like yin yang, all that stuff. Why we can't choose to internalize that? But we sitting down there internalizing what white people think about our booty shorts.
Right. Well, that's a part of the program. That's the program.
This is what I'm saying.
Underline,
Antoine. This is what I'm saying. This is the TNT. Do you see how? But do you see how you guys? Come on now. You know about it. You know about it. Again, this is about lower energy that you cannot avoid. So again, let's not do the bypassing and act like we above it. We live in Flatbush. We live in Bushwick. We work in Manhattan. So we understand our own duality. We know what's expected. And West Indian people are typical to be like, listen, I'm just going to go to people's job, child.
Okay.
Because I know I got to be myself on the weekend. Ooh, 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 ooh. Back it up.
I'm screaming.
Come on. And how? Don't you feel like that? You can't wait till you get how many? Come on.
You know me.
Tiffany be like, I'm in a Zoom meeting at 6:30. I have one at 4:30. And I'm like, and the moment you are off But aren't you getting off to, if you want to go to a party Zoom, it's a different motivation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the liquor is there.
Why? It's not only the liquor, it's that you get to be without qualms. That's what the Mangrove Restaurant, again, going back to the topic, what time is it?
8:57.
Oh my God, we're doing something.
Hope you guys are hanging in there. But going into, like, it's a restaurant, and that's what he kept saying, like, I am providing a space that people identify. If it's not for you,
why are you here?
Why are you here?
True.
You could have slide past that on Uber Eats. Don't be talking about why you putting spice in the curry goat. Because it's...
But we already know why.
Why, Twan? Why?
You're jealous.
It's jealousy, right?
You wish you had this seasoning. You wish you had
There
this
is a
spice.
place,
You wish you
speaking...
had
And
this
because
flavor.
some of them have realized that they can't live with the seasoning. Because again, there's some white people, right? Again, you're looking at some of the old, like, black movies. I'm a movie buff. I'm gonna start doing that. Anyway, put a tap on doing movie reviews.
Okay.
You really get into their thinking, and this is a portrayal. I'm not picking out any single white person, but you're talking about movie tropes out there, right? Like certain characters that's out there. They know that they can't handle the sauce. If you're trying to be black 24/7 a day, it will wear you down.
It'll wear you. Listen.
So only good until...
It'll wear you down.
It'll wear you down.
Until you're down 2 hours in and you're like, whoa, this is a lot.
Because I can't really compete.
And listen, that's that Capricorn energy. We're in Capricorn season right now. There's a lot of weight bearing. Capricorn can bear that weight.
Honey.
Right? So it's almost like, can you bear the weight of your life? You the one out there trying to create your life. Can you hold on? Whatever your life entails, you want all of this. I want, can you bear the weight of your life? That's how you generate good energy, by saying, I know my needs, and my needs is a little bashment and a little spicy
Someone
food.
say bashment.
Come on, you know what what I'm saying? We need the road. Listen, I don't even like feathers when I play mask, but child, the moment listen, I'll be at the Dutty Fete with feathers on. That's to tell you how much I miss the whole masquerade, I miss the road. I miss a boat ride down DDI. I miss it. I'm just like,
We'll get it back.
finding other ways to be well. But it showed me other ways to be well.
Right.
Without that.
Right. Like I definitely connected with people that I didn't connect with as much because we were all using the same medium, right? So if I'm always going out with my friends, I'm not always talking to my other friends who live in other states.
Yeah.
But now that I'm home, I talk to pretty much everybody the same kind of way, right?
Yeah. And you see how differently your lives are. You're like, wow, I was really... By May, I would be feeling great. And by May, they're like, trying to figure their life out. I'm like, I already had 2 carnivals in, honey. I am good.
And so this is my thing. And nothing against anyone who got that itch. Because I have the itch too to leave. But like, it's a blessing and a curse that this COVID thing happened, because it shouldn't have had to take this pandemic to happen for you to realize that your own happiness and travel, if that's what you like to do, is okay.
That's the comfort zone, but that's
right?
Exactly,
so,
right? So now you're forced to say, what is it worth? Because regardless of what, there is a virus, right? There is a virus. Let me say it again. There is a virus, okay? Stop dragging it. With that said, forget about how we got here. It's here. It also underlines what you are not doing for you. I'm not blaming. I am not shaming. I am just underlining what's available in the new moon cycle, which is to realize where you have to kind of participate in the low energy, because that's where this MF is built. This is where it's at.
I think
in the streets.
Everybody's different, and I'm also learning that too. Like a lot of people have grew their business that they didn't think they could get before. But even if you
a lot of them
didn't
realize that they what they're not built for.
Right.
Okay.
And so if you learn that, like, and that it all also goes back to your own personal happiness, right? Don't let the internet or social media make you feel like whatever they're doing is what you have to do to be good about yourself.
Again, the
right?
next step is to lean back.
Yeah.
Lean back and know.
Yeah.
And listen, and understand that. But even if you don't know how to carve out, because I realize that gives people anxiety. As much as I'm like, I love spending time by myself. I love learning. I am hours away. I'm just like in the rabbit hole. But what I am willing to do and just kind of martyr myself and be like, yes, I'm just going to just deal with the shadow and call in my own retrograde just because I'm just tired just of weight bearing. Because that is not an option that I want anymore. I don't want to bear anybody's weight that ain't mine.
Excuse me.
The weight that I'm bearing is the booty.
Okay.
Booty, rocking up. That's it. That's the only weight. A little, raw.
Okay.
Wow.
That's the weight that the weight of my backpack. Hello, I'm in headpiece. That's the weight that I want to bear. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And I understand that some people may say, I'm trying to figure out what planet she live on because that's just not what's going to happen.
It could be
But is
otherworldly
it?
one.
What are they saying in the mixed cloud there?
Well, first of all, somebody said Caribbean people put their head down and gets the work done. Okay.
Yes.
I'm still sad she's in December 4th, baby. Oh, happy birthday to
Happy
Boss
birthday.
Lady.
Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Can I get a drink on camera for you?
Ooh. Yes, I had COVID and survived. Oh, well.
Oh my goodness.
Well, happy belated birthday, and
And with that said, let's do a moment of silence for everyone that has passed away, lost their lives, a family member, due to this virus. All right. Listen, we're gonna take a little. Can we do a little music break? We'll do like a little music break. Something to really reset. Maybe you guys need a refill. We'll take we'll do like one song and come back. Get settled. We love the questions. We love the engagement. Keep them coming. Shout out to everyone on the Facebook. We'll log on to the Facebook to see it's about 9:04. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hard to hate me. Don't go anywhere.
don't
Stick around.
DJ Rip.
Can you roll your waist? Don't stand and be looking like a monkey. Shabba, 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 rolling dollar. Shabba, 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 laba, laba, tonic water. What I really want is to be a stinking billionaire, so that I can afford anything I want to buy. Guinea private jet to avoid the ghost on the road. No more sweating in the bolu well. Ide shuninu aye mi odigba o. Poverty don't run on me otila o. Mo ṣe biri biri, yeah.
to the next part of the show. The next question. And wait, can I have a phone holder, just a phone holder thingy, just to hold the. Hi. I'm also live. Listen. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. This is Hard to Hate Me. My name is Camille, aka Cams. Also, this is
Swanty.
And this is
Opinionated Diva.
Okay, Tiffany, Opinionated Diva, and
Yes,
we
you can call me
are
Diva.
Opinionated Diva. Yeah, good right there. Okay, yes.
This is like a contraption. What is that?
It's a situation. It's working. Okay, because listen, there's a lot of things going on. How do you know you've grown?
Well, this was a big question to start the second half.
I mean, we're squeezing the toothpaste out of the last situation. How do you know you've grown? 2020 has really worked, but it's also it worked when you worked it, I feel.
Well, you know, you asked this question to our friend Hope. Hope, I hope you're here or you're around.
Hopey!
If she's around,
Shout out to G-Star.
She basically said, which I agree with, is like, you know you've grown when you not. She said stop caring, and which is true, but I think it's almost more of not that I don't care, I don't acknowledge, right? So I love my friends, I love people around me, and I definitely accept, whatever, I don't want to say criticism, but whatever my friends have to, whatever information they have or they want to share. But it's almost like, okay, but on to the next thing that I was already saying, right? It's like just one of those where 2020 has just taught me that, even though I've always known it, like this is when it really had no choice but to come through, is that you literally can only depend on yourself.
How do you know you've grown, Twan?
I will say the last couple days something has happened, and I'm like, okay, that I've been telling myself, okay? In instances where I want to, have a fit or tell somebody off, give grace to receive grace.
You're holding it down more.
And I'm like, calm down, give grace to receive grace. And I'm like, that's something, because my tongue can be a bit vicious, when I'm a Scorpio, so like I hold a lot in,
so
but then when I let it out,
for a favor for them or a favor to you?
That's a favor for me because it's not worth it. I'm learning to choose my battles more wisely. Like everything doesn't need a response, or everything doesn't need the response that I used to give. Some things I better just go on and move on and keep things moving. So that's what I'm learning, and that's how I know I've grown, because I'm brushing more things off my shoulder that are not serious, that don't really matter in the long run.
Well, I've noticed that about you too, just because I've known you now for ever. I feel like, but yeah, no, I mean, I think we both grown in that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to fight, but
Right.
I don't anymore.
How do you know you've grown? I want to know, people out there, and this is all, consider this a think tank.
Yes.
So we want to put, this is like a capsule, so we want to put all of the thoughts about how people, because I don't know how you know how you've grown. This is a question to ask everybody, ask yourself, how do you know you've grown? Because you have some, and sometimes we don't notice if you've grown.
Do you think you've grown? Do you think you've grown?
I have grown with the T.
With a T.
No, there's the T behind. I'm grown tough.
You're grown. Okay.
And still growing.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I'm really understanding my own fluidity and realizing that I don't have to be fixed in one place, even though that there's, I do have that like Capricorn energy where it's like, I need to know, the structure, I understand that even though I don't love a lot of restraint is different than having discipline and structure. Do you know what I'm saying? Restriction, understanding how you are restricted. You shouldn't be restricted. So restraint, restriction. Someone said they're over the BS. What kind of BS that you over? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I remember I did this campaign, bullying and suicide. Like, yeah, I'm over that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's still the number one cause of, people who are, deciding to just, for whatever reason. You know, and it's because of identity issues. You know, that's why, you know, going back to the topic, small acts, you know, was so, it was key to see that, to see how code switching was used differently, you know, to see when we just don't know when to hang it up, or say, listen, I get it, but I want my day in court.
Right.
I still gotta say something because people depend on you to hold your tongue.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, you have police officers that do dirt in the dark. Just like you have people with one hand like this and the other hand like this.
You know, the biggest thing, the funniest thing that I realize is that they really think these people are stupid. That's the ultimate. You have this behavior because you think these people are. But don't you feel that way sometimes? You look at the media, you look at the news, or you read something in the paper, and you're looking, you're like, this is so dumb. Well, no, I mean, the cops like think
okay.
that they look at us like we're really stupid, or
I don't even think they give us that much credit sometimes.
Based
looking at, okay, so I was just so everyone seen Queen and Slim?
Have I?
Did you see Queen and Slim?
I'm
Not
a
to jump out of
girl.
movie.
You know I'm crime. You know if it's not a crime show, I'm not watching.
I think I did.
It's like what happens when you're like, you know, your life could change in a second. You know, you are on a date, so on a first date, they, you know, a murder happens. You're on a first date, and then now it's a murder.
What happens?
What do you do?
Well, that intrigues me. If they would have said that, I would have watched it.
I was screaming.
And you know, I don't even know if I like you yet. It's the first date, and now we're like bonded for life or whatever. You know, both. You know, luckily they chose. I didn't finish it yet, but.
Is it a series or a movie?
It's a movie. Something like that can happen to people. You can make the wrong situation. You can be out there walking your dog, and a white person could call the cops and be like, "You out here." You could be bird watching, and they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing here? This ain't your zip code." You know what I'm saying?
And then
you could be like, "You know what? I'm over it. I'm on my last nerve with the audacity,
Caucasity.
caucasity." When I'm hard to hate. What are you talking about?
You love me.
What are you saying?
But that's the reason you love me.
But you know, I think if people take that attitude, like that's why I like the name. If you really internalize that, like, you know, it's I actually always said that, but I didn't say it that way. I always said, if you don't, I never give anybody a reason not to like me.
Right.
So if you don't, that has something to do with you, because I literally always want to have a good time. Like I rarely don't want to have a good time. So if you come out of anything with me like, oh, I don't like that Tiffany girl. What's wrong with you, girl? Because or boy, or what are like what we doing?
Aunties, your eyes are raggedy.
Sorry, look at you.
Hey,
It's the end of the year and everyone's squeezing the tube, so why not?
Ooh, two bell boss lady. I shifted from petty to professional, shady to
Petty to-
sensational.
Ooh,
Growth. Okay.
that is.
Listen, growth from petty to professional, from shady to sensational.
And Berthel said, knowing you can get up once you've been knocked down. That's growth.
I have a question for the
Belief
audience.
in your capable before you even.
No.
Listen, that's such a key point. Understanding, knowing your strengths, knowing how to develop them, knowing what you need to do, what's going to stand in the way of you getting to that achievement.
How do you know your strengths? Like how?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna go.
No, my question
into
was
that.
my question was actually petty in nature, so I'm not going to ask.
No, do the petty. Listen, petty work. Everything works. It's connected.
No, because I want to go to petty to professional too, but I have a question because it's a true story. So my Christmas tree, right? This is not even a joke. My Christmas tree, the way my apartment is set up, my neighbors can see it. And so they set up this nice, cute little window display. But my tree is so amazing that I purposely keep my window open now so they can see my tree.
You're one of those bushman people.
I know.
Look at you.
So my question is,
Which is so not West Indian because we need curtains. West Indian love a little curtain.
well, I have a
We
long
need a
curtain.
little curtain set, honey, every Christmas. Yeah, let's figure out why you're making your black cake.
Oh my goodness! You know what?
That's your black cake. I'm
You need to
screaming.
make your black cake, and while you make your black cake, you better be having them curtains.
My friend
honey,
from
or ironing
Guyana-
them. My mother be ironing the curtains, honey. Be trying
No,
to
my friend
iron
from Guyana,
them.
they change it every season. I didn't know that was. I didn't know people did that, but
Shout out to the holiday traditions, regardless of what
Yes.
it is. Family, listen, your family traditions some traditions, again, we choose what we internalize.
But see, I would be about changing my curtains every season. Like I would, but we didn't have
That's
curtains in my
cute.
house like that. But I would have totally been about that.
We had, what did we have?
Oh wow. Okay,
Venetian
wait.
blinds
Now we
are
have
those-
mad drama. Okay, someone said. So that's a theme about forgiving. So someone said that how about someone that you trusted, right? So 2020 was about trust. I'm just reading a comment. It's about trust. What is your trust like? How's your trust set up? At the top of when I first introduced Hard to Hate Me in August, we talked about the level of trust. Knowing that you're worthy of trust, you're capable of trust, that you're trustworthy. You know what I mean? And that everything you have to kind of sign on to, because at least for me, everything happens. There's no such thing as coincidences. Everything is by design. So if you talk about internalizing something, so we talk about trusting, and then someone leak nude pictures of you on Instagram. Okay.
No, honey.
We're not. Violation is different.
Right.
Violation of trust.
Well, they're saying somebody put nude pictures on Instagram.
Again, we're talking about the low energy of this phase. Squeezing out the last nitty gritty in the molasses jar. The grit. What do you have in you? And if someone is resorting to, isn't that major hype situation? Well, we're not going to get
Anyway.
Again, but no, I'm not above it, because listen, that's highlighted in a certain way because of the status of the people. But that is a typical situation.
Yes.
Where someone feels like they have to be empowered and take their power back because of, abuse or their story. And then there's retaliation, which always happens. It can happen at your job. You stand up, you feel all empowered, listen to all of the speeches, and then you go to work, and then your boss is being microaggressive about how you spend your time, which you're entitled to. Why are you over-policed? They want to look at your calendar and want to see you free. So you're tempted to block it all out to make sure that they don't just book stuff on your calendar, because they just assume you ain't got nothing to do. Why? Because they're observing.
Yeah.
They're only observing you from a distance and thinking about what they have in their mind, which is their traditional rules, which is why small acts, in the beginning, there was a monologue about, the new humans or different humans or something like that. And that's because when you see somebody that's valuing something that you don't necessarily think is valuable, then you're tempted to judge them. So what we all do it.
We all do it every single day.
And COVID gave us a reason to be like, I'm judgy and
Oh my goodness.
sorry.
The judgment that happened in 20. So we had. It was almost like a
But it's for you to
cluster.
internalize it the right way.
Right.
Judgment or discernment. Again, you're going from petty to professional. Who said that?
That was
That
two
was
belts.
two belt boss
From
lady.
petty to
Two-belt boss
professional,
lady.
right? You're like, listen, because your pettiness, if everything works, I believe everything works if you connect to it, right? You just can't stay there and dwell there. But if you're petty, your pettiness is because you are, and this is a life coach talking,
Prepared.
you look at everything.
Okay.
Your sarcasm is like, I need more information. I don't fully trust yet. I don't feel comfortable. I'm not sure what's going on. But you're too, I don't want to say, you don't feel comfortable or capable or competent enough to ask a direct question. And if you looked at small acts, getting back to the topic, there was a lot of release. When they were pissed, they let you know. They rolled up on the cop, was like, yo, you, come off out of you.
Right.
Yep.
Where in American movies about heroes do you get that type of release? They always have to suck salt and not say anything until they about to be killed. So if you look at how the release of racial distress, or you are hating on me because I'm black, or whatever, classism, anti-black woman, colorism, homophobia, xenophobia, sexism, misogyny, or whatever, and you're in a position, your job, that you can't say anything when everything around you in this COVID was about your empowerment, your return back to who you are, who was helping you having the conversation? Come on, you're gonna be walking to your boss's office and be like, I saw you over policing me in the meeting, or shutting me down, or interrupting me, or making a snide comment about what I do on my vacation time because it looks like I'm naked in the street.
Right.
I'm doing my shadow work.
Okay, leave me alone.
I'm processing the racial distress because you've made my body a political point. And you've made my culture an industry and a genre, and you ain't even pushing the music because soca still can't get its due. Well, that's also because people playing Bacchanal. But that's a different story.
Honey,
Doesn't it sound familiar with the other oppression and everything? That's what I'm
absolutely,
saying.
it's the same.
We are really like this. There's a bunch of bridges we just got to keep walking across and meeting in the middle, because we're really... That small act stuff happens in Flatbush and in the rest of the Caribbean community, right? We can identify with that, or even me doing parties for safe spaces for lesbians or women who like women to party at the time, going in and having to explain. Listen, sir, it ain't this. Let me explain to you, the crowd.
Right.
Just have the drinks ready, have the cute bartenders, and then you'll make all the money you need. I'm bringing the music and the vibe. I'm the vibe queen.
Listen.
Caribbean parties, you don't have the Johnny on deck or the drink, the Hennessy. Don't worry, we're gonna drink. We're gonna show up. We're gonna show up at 2 a.m., but we're gonna show up, and you'll see the most accelerated hour in an hour.
Yes.
Where you would make it. But you have to explain that, and you find yourself explaining those things, and some people are tasked with having to explain in a way of like justifying, because there's a bunch of restriction. It's like, yeah, you, but not you. Yeah, you, but not you. Why?
And then when do we, right? So I remember, I don't know if you all remember, and this was happening more so in the South, but it can happen anywhere, just in a different form. There was this party where there were like only light-skinned girls allowed, right? Like a whole flyer, right?
Maybe flyers, light
right,
skin
a whole flyer.
dark skin.
But this is where this actually might have been in London. To be fair, this might have been in London. So now this is where the issue came. So they went, but then the girl apparently was too dark. And that's where the whole blow up. The whole blow up happened. Like, they wouldn't let my friend in. But why are you at a party where they're saying only light skinned girls, whatever, right? But then somewhere in your mind, for whatever reason, when they said
maybe
no,
the light skinned friend felt like she had the pull.
Because
sometimes we gotta get in on the coattail. We gotta get on the +1. Get in on the.
It was on the
How many
internet.
times you got it on the +1?
It was on the internet. So it was almost one of those things where it's like, when you know something's happening, right? Or pettiness or all that. But what is your complicity in that? Right? If you think, well,
like,
it's stupid,
perfect.
but
it is
it's
where
stupid, it's
we
crazy,
benefit.
but I'm gonna go.
Didn't we talk about that a couple episodes back, about recognizing our own privilege and recognizing where we are benefiting from the same system we are trying. Again, that is about your duality, knowing that you work in Manhattan, you work on Columbus Circle, but you live on Flatbush. Right. You see what you're selling. If you work in a retail store, and you know your retail store is selling a particular image. You work at Abercrombie Hollister. Remember how Hollister had a name, if you guys remember? Hollister was dark. It was like, if you don't know about it, don't go in there. They make no excuses for the fact that there were no lights. Everyone looked the same. Someone was doing push-ups on the floor to show their youth, or mounting a skateboard or surfboard.
My niece used to love Hollister.
It was what it is. It was a vibe. Again, taste and preferences. Last week on dating. It's what you choose to internalize. It is about your perspective and about how you choose to perceive your perspective. So if you want to get a good vibe, vet that. What does it mean to me that I am going up in Hollister right now? Oh, I'm attracted. Which means, am I identifying with the marketing?
I would probably find something in Hollister at my store that's now closed, called Fashion Brand on Myrtle Avenue. That's probably where I would find a Hollister shirt, because I probably wouldn't go on a Hollister.
I'm just saying, but what I'm saying is like, it's like okay, let's put Victoria's Secret pink.
Juicy Couture.
Not
That was a
Juicy
thing.
Couture.
I never had anything Juicy
Okay,
Couture.
let's do worst. Like R&B or like Guess.
R&B.
I used to work at R&B. Don't get crazy.
Ah!
At the time,
Bakers.
What was
honey.
R&B?
that was
What
my
did they
soap
have?
opera days with the outfits, honey. That's how I got
R&B?
these big belts and the whole style.
What I never.
But they're saying that R&B, you know, it was one of those like, you know, like boutique stores.
Oh.
Please invite me to these parties. 2 Bell Boss ladies.
First
Yes,
of all,
Two Bell Boss Lady.
We're gonna
Okay.
find
I
you.
am loving the petty to
Okay.
professional type situation.
Me
We're
too.
gonna speak after that. Is that a 2 Bell?
One, does she wear 2 belts? Because I bet you do.
Because listen,
bet
if
you
you're
do.
my belt sister,
See, you know, can I say this?
she's
might
a
be-
boss and a lady.
Okay.
Listen,
But you got a booty, because belts don't look cute on me at all.
Listen,
It just
I love
accentuate
you,
what I
belt.
don't got. Literally, it's crazy.
even if I, you know, I
Call me no
don't
belt.
think my butt is big. My butt is angles. It's just a certain. I'm telling you, I'm not tooting.
I'm looking at you to tell you that I'm looking at her. It's... Go ahead, though. Listen, you were right.
Listen, I have a booty. I'm proud of it. It's called West Indian woman. It's called MILF.
I'm screaming.
Okay. It is called 40 Watt.
Hey, 40 who?
Okay.
40 where?
Okay. And it's called Sweat.
Oh. Okay.
It's called Living in America and Can't Find You Road March.
I know. Well, when we find it, y'all, find us, because I'm doing cartwheels straight up.
Listen.
Down
when you
the
could
road.
connect to your when you could figure out a recreation or a pastime. I mean, how many people are working and moonlighting just to build a life that they want to get away, to get away from work? Do you
Me.
excuse me?
Me.
Excuse me? Do you really want to stop working, or you just want to work when you want to work?
I want to work and do the things I want to do while I'm
Okay,
working,
that's
so it
another
doesn't
angle.
feel like
So you
work.
want to work when you want to work and do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Absolutely.
I
And
want
again,
to work with what I'm passionate about, and I'm working on that. And that's probably also what I've learned about myself, is that I had this idea, not a side way, because I want to talk about fun again. I had this
Yeah.
I had this light bulb moment, literally recently. I've been working so hard, saying, "Oh, I want to be this. I want to be like the VP. I want to be the whatever. All these like titles." And I'm like, but that's really not what I want.
What
right?
do you want?
I want to be out, and I want to literally. If you all knew how passionate I was about minority health, it's actually. You think she's nerdy? It's nerdy crazy how nerdy I am about this, right? So like if
That's
I
why
can.
you're my girl crush too.
Right.
Because I love a
Right.
nerdy girl. That
So
you
that's
like.
what I wanna do.
And now your nerdiness has focus and purpose.
Yes.
Because minority health.
It's my
Black
thing.
women,
That's my
it's-
thing.
But it's severe.
That's my thing. So I
Right?
want to be able to do that and still be on the road though, and I can still
Yeah.
be talking to all my
Yeah.
people. Like, but let me tell you about this though. While we walking, right?
Yeah.
Why we need to be hydrated right now? Why we need to
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like, that's my dream. And a TED Talk. Look for me.
TED Talk energy
hey,
Yeah.
about what would be your intention. Again, full moon. You just literally, you know what you just did? And this is how simple it is. You don't even know what you just did. So you have a guided principle. Your guided principle is fun.
Yes.
My guided principle is being comfortable and feeling full-fledged, like I am capable and competent and I'm confident in what I'm here to contribute. That's guiding principle. And you just said, yes, I want to do that, feel that, and now focus on minority health, which is what I love to do. I love to research that and where I feel like I am my best.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you.
Okay. That's it. That's what you do in a full moon intent. That's it. That's all you write down.
Do I have to pay you for this life coach moment, or is it
okay,
free?
like is it right?
I want to make sure
Listen,
it's
by
free.
the way, this week, that's a good segue. This week, my site to book some pep talks or
Ooh.
with me. I'm gonna do pep. I feel like that's what I do. Again, I ain't bullshitting y'all. Like, I'm just trying to find the best way to divvy up what I want to do because I'm so interested in doing so many things. But I realize that multitasking in that way doesn't work. So I have to now take off my workaholic brain, but I've been doing this stuff, managing stuff for like 20 years. So again, this is why you take the time while you have it to really sit down with your small axe and chop away at some stuff. It's okay, because who's gonna know but me? You won't know I'm doing it until I tell you.
Yep, that's true.
But I'm okay with talking about it because my culture, our culture, which is, it doesn't matter if it's Caribbean or whatever, it's, you know, African American, we don't talk about the struggle. We just want to show up with the goal. And I'm not saying, and I don't even want to speak negatively and say anything about, oh, well, all that's good as it goes. Yes, it's like social media. You put your best self forward. It is your time.
I'm okay with that. Yes, absolutely,
guilty.
absolutely.
So it's about it's what you connect to about the narrative. If the negative part of the narrative says, well, this is because, well, your mama was no good, or you came from a divorced home,
was not about that.
or you don't have status, or you came from, you know, not, you know, your parents were questionable, or whatever. God don't be like, you know, I want to give you that job, but your mother was not nice.
Right. Yeah, because I was.
Who says that? Your siblings.
They try it.
Or somebody, you know, you want to go to college, you have to find a reason why. You in the hood, how many times, you want to go to college?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you don't want to go to college? These days, coming into the now, you don't want to go to college. Why would you look at someone crazy if they don't want to go to college? Why?
Because your own ignorance.
There's 22-year-olds on, there's 13-year-olds on YouTube who are millionaires. Who was like, I can do this Google, and you know what I'm saying? That's so we need to get with the reality.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing too, like about social media, and then like I don't ignore the fact that there are impressionable people just in general in the world, you know, but if you really can't look at a picture of someone, right? I mean, I might get jealous. If I see them on the beach, I'm jealous off gate. I'm not even going to deny that, because it's a real beach and I want to be on it.
Again, your intentions, and that's why I'm going to insert.
Yeah.
Your intentions about how you want to feel. Let's just put that, just distinguish that. When you set intentions, it is about how you want to feel.
Well, I don't want to see like regular pictures on Instagram. I mean, honestly, nobody wants to see how boring I am, right? Like, if you want to see me in my bed eating Oreos, watching crime, that's what I do. Literally, 98%
well,
of
you
the
can
time.
always align your intentions with your authentic self. So if your intentions, if your authentic self is introverted and loves rabbit holes, as in research, y'all, don't. I want to say that.
You know what?
I'm just saying, if
my drink is gone, so now
you know
don't.
why? You know why
Oh,
I'm carving that out? Because part of my specialty as a life coach, I read people's archetypes, right? And an archetype will tell you a story of when you were born, and it also explains the big part. The bottom line is that it helps you find your purpose. It also introduces you to your higher self. Because why you need to have your higher self? Not because that's the higher self that's going to be the CEO of your company who's on the beach doing whatever. The higher self is the person that changes and transforms your bullshitter. They have to meet. When y'all talk about twin flame and all that stuff, it is not another person. Your person that lives on Flatbush needs to meet the person that lives on Fifth Avenue. And then the person on Fifth Avenue who sees atop of the mountain, who has everything that you could imagine and don't want to imagine because you were told that you could not. Your higher self is already living that life. She just needs the body. She just needs the substance, the experience. She needs you to go through the stuff, and then so it's like that's the blockbuster, and then you are the person that's bringing in all the subtitles. So they need to meet. That's the twin flame. It's not somebody else. So when you think about partnership and reuniting and returning, and I'm home and I'm reclaiming my time and all that stuff, it is your time. It is you. You the vibe.
Oh, I always say that.
Everything.
You the vibe.
Every day.
In my
all
but in my
day.
own way though, like literally, it's almost embarrassing.
Feel your own vibe. That is, listen, if anything, this 2020.
Be your own vibe, honey.
And
Yeah.
the
Gotta
thing
be
is,
your own
maybe
vibe.
everybody don't get your vibe though, right? But here's my thing about that, like, so for me, the way she talks about vibe is the way I talk about energy. So my energy space, if it's
That's
all
the
in
same,
something,
all in the same. Well,
Yeah.
I say energy is in
Right.
because energies are always available for me to, charge my vibe.
right?
You
But I
know.
feel like if my energy is on like 10 and I'm in a good space, which then my vibe is gonna be on that, you can either get on that train or not. Like that's that's literally how I am. But if
Because
you
here's the
feel
thing.
that,
We don't need your seat. We can sit by ourselves.
always. It's like a swing. I love it. Yeah.
I am saying
Pendulum, honey.
it doesn't mean that you don't need anyone, and that goes back to the archetype. So archetype so I do it more in a wheel. Or it can be a timeline of your life. You look at what your obsessions are. What have you totally not been able to prioritize your way out of? Where you stop telling yourself that you're a bad person because you couldn't get that one thing done that's been on your to-do list forever that you know you need to do. Whatever the shoulds in your life are. The archetypes tell you why you couldn't get it done. Because of whether it's something that you need to look at, something that you need to champion, something that you need to realize that that's the cart before the horse. It really puts your life in order. So again, not to do all that stuff, but you guys look up you know what archetype is. Archetypes are the same things that they sell you in movies. If you identify with a character in a movie, it's because they understand that there's an archetype they built into a story, and everyone has a story. The one that you are trying to tell now as a black person with your experiences, as a racialized person, but there's another story beyond race. Right? Just like you want to look at beyond racism to classism, that this is a real class issue. Because if you didn't think of a class issue, then you wouldn't say black was lower. Or you wouldn't even, because white people don't look at themselves as white. We look at them as white.
Right.
They didn't say, oh, this is a white thing.
Right.
We said, oh, that's totally white.
I think it's just normal.
Yeah.
Because we are about identity. Melanated people, we identify with, yes, honey, this is doing me life, what's happening. And they make us feel guilty about that. Why? Because energy lives below your skin. When the sun activated,
Because if we never understand the source of that
Come
energy,
on
that
now.
we're the oil, honey.
and how
we
you
are
gonna know the
oil.
source if you don't look? It's like
You
looking
don't
in the
know the
mirror.
source.
Does a mirror tell you that you look fat, or you tell yourself in the mirror as you're looking that you look fat? The mirror is just there to reflect what your mirror has no opinion. The mirror just says, "Let me hold it for you. Let me hold your bag. I don't care if you want me to hold it because you're lazy or whatever. I'm just gonna hold your bag."
Yep.
But you look in the mirror and say, "I don't know. It's not happening today.
Not today, honey.
It's not happening today."
Maybe tomorrow.
That's why mirror work, again, is very important. My friend Treasure does mirror work where, that mirror on the wall, and I don't know exactly how she does it, but, again, I'm into the moon. Moon is Venus. My Venus is moon. All about, what do you want to specialize in? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Right.
So anyway, it's hard to hate me. It's about 9:41. We got into a lot.
How did we do this?
I
How did we
know.
get into the moon with the specializing in the
We was
something?
all okay. We bounced a little
We
bit.
like a.
And this is my
But it all
this is
fit.
my mood, and this is my intention to be doing this, and this. Whatever I'm doing in the present, I want to do it in a positive forward, which is no guilt about working in a traditional sense, about people want to see, you know what I'm saying? It's just all that stuff. Because I look at some of the people, like all my friends who are like, just kind of dealing with their having to work like you. They are gunning. They are really vetting people. There's a lot of violations happening on people's job. And even though you know it's messed up, because your life on the weekend told you that it was messed up.
Oh yeah.
Because you met your higher self on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, but also the thing too is that I don't want to say it's easy money, but it's when you're good at something, right? So like I go to work good at something, but it shouldn't stress me out, and that's what my problem
Well,
is.
that's
is I don't
what
like to be
that
stressed.
again. That's what. See, this is what the 20
Stress.
years of working with white people. I understand how they think. Work is not supposed to suck your energy, and if the way that they are thinking about the form, again, there's roles and there's function. We ain't talking about not want to work,
Right.
but the way you want me to work, my G.
Right.
And
The way,
yeah.
again, the way,
Yeah.
and how do you get to
Yeah.
the way that you want to work? If you set your intention to say, how do I want to feel when I go to work? How do you want to feel when you go to work? When you log on to work, for some of you that are working, remotely, when you log on to work, how do you feel the moment you sit in that chair? Because then their parents, shout out to the people who are parenting in the pandemic, you have to be in one seat.
Right, it's a lot.
And this way you gotta be a parent. This way you gotta be the person paying attention. This way you gotta figure out what y'all gonna eat in a second. Then this way is figuring out who else is coming home that's gonna disturb your Zoom. You gotta look at your schedule. Pivoting, code switching, all that stuff is coming into use now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know how to attach, detach,
And it's hard. I think it's harder for kids because they're not. I wouldn't even
no, we're
expect them to
counting
do
our
that.
kids. We're talking
Yeah.
about the adults that
No,
expect
no.
the kid. But how about it's crazy that
Yeah.
you brought that up, because now you see what you're lacking with your kids, right? Because now your kids don't know the difference between kind of like if you compartmentalize your day. If you're like, you get up on a Saturday, we're sitting people, you get up on a Saturday, you do this, you do this, you do this. But Saturday is governed by Saturn, and Saturn is like, what do you own here? Who owns you?
Well, then it is too. Like
Who
I
owns you?
always see it where
You
it's
or
like,
me or the bills.
Okay.
it's like we know when we're on like a Zoom meeting where it's like, okay, what my background look like. Kids do not care. I don't have any
Why?
kids.
Why
They do
is
not
that?
care.
Why is that? Why is that, you think?
I think because
Parents, you want to look
Right.
like you're a professional still.
absolutely.
Appearance.
But here's the thing.
But they get my closet in the
But
background.
that's
That's all
what
they
I'm
get from
trying
there.
to, Tiffany,
So I gotta
again, you
give.
see what I'm trying
My
to say,
closet.
why you are TNT? You see what you say, I'm going to highlight what you say. Because if you're on that job, working remote, because that's how your job's set up, because that's also a privilege, that's recognized.
I am thankful that I can do
Right?
it, so for sure.
And they are annoyed by hearing background stuff, they are out.
I am never annoyed
Because
by that.
it's
I
a
really am.
quarantine.
Right.
Think about, again, we're going to use everything. The news cycle is all about, people stressed out at work, people at home, people, domestic violence, all stuff. So I assume you watch the news or some type of something. I know you know. I'm going to assume that you know. So if you hear a pot cleaning in the background, I'm trying to prepare dinner. Okay? So I don't want to hear nothing in my assessment about professional environment.
Yeah,
What is
I
a
would
professional
I would
environment?
hope nobody would do that because that's
What is
wrong.
a professional environment now? America's on sale. There's no such thing as a professional environment without the pettiness. So shout out to what's our friend name on
Two
phone
Bell.
died.
It's Two Bell.
Two Bell
Boss Lady.
Boss Lady.
And then there was another one
You
that
need your
Berthel,
you need your
yeah.
professional
Berthel.
and your petty, because your pettiness is that person that helps you survive when people that people trying to play you. You know that energy is like. I don't know if I know what you're saying, but it don't feel right.
It don't feel right.
I know what you're saying may be true, but it don't feel true to me. Now that could be me, or it could be my projection of fear. It could be I really want you to wear a mask because I'm so tired of this situation, and I'm ready to get back. And I hate the new normal. I hate terms like the new normal. I hate that
Listen,
type of stuff.
I don't like the word
It's like
normalize. I don't.
Just like I hate the
Right.
word the American people.
Who are they?
Who are you talking
I mean, we
to?
know who they want them to be.
Who are you talking to?
We know who.
The American black people, and then I gotta ask the American black people, because
Then we're different.
sometimes I be like, I'm getting off this bus, honey, because y'all ain't going where I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as much as they campaign, remember that movie Get on the Bus? I'm gonna have a movie that's called I'm Getting Off the Bus. Stop the bus. I need
Throw
to
my
see your
off the
bus
train.
ticket. Where are you going?
Okay.
Because you're not going to the lane that where I'm going has a lot of things that equalize us, as in well-being, as in stress relievers, as in learning how to make difficult decisions, about, that sounds like Burning Man. Yeah. My next goal is to go to Burning Man.
So, well, I have a friend, shout out to Morgan, who's probably not watching, but my friend Morgan, who just also had a nice, beautiful little baby candle, loves Burning Man. He's gone like what, 3 or 4 times. So like, listen, I would love to go to Burning Man too.
I am in pursuit of any festival that centers the people. They don't even care about, not that they don't care about advertisers, they are very realistic about what makes the world go round, which is money, advertising, and housing, and blah blah. But when you are building a culture, when you are actively and consciously and intentionally building a culture to include people's conditions, as far as like, I know that you need to curate a schedule that works for you. I know that you may come and not even have the words to say what you feel.
Right.
I know that sometimes just giving you an ice cream cone or like a roti or a doubles or something, as in our people, is a gesture of like, come on. I know if you get somebody an approval for that boat ride, you are
friends.
Loved. You are loved.
Friends.
You are loved. Come on now. Come on.
Remember that, because
if you get me KFC in Trinidad while I get off the boat ride and know that I have 30 minutes to get ready for the next fete and I'm struggling.
My clothes have been just sitting in my drawer, just like, what happened?
Yeah.
Next year.
Any reflections for you tomorrow? Like, what are you reflecting? Like, first of all, how your summer? You know, we was turned in the summer.
Girl, turned all the way up, honey.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
Turned all the way up.
I hope I made that great for you, or is that why you called?
This is totally great, y'all.
Okay.
Listen. It is 9:50 right now. You've been listening to Heart to Hate Me. Thank you so much for joining. We started at the top of the hour talking about small acts, talking about the movie, the over-policing of black people, the unofficial segregation, the just the radical movement of people who are just unsuspecting or who are forgotten conveniently. Sounds familiar?
It is familiar.
Today. Literally.
I am loving that Regina King.
It was cute. You see it?
Okay.
Oh yes,
it
yes,
was cute.
Listen, this is lower energy. If you are searching for your own energy, your own vibe, it's right where you at.
You are it.
You are it. That's it. You are it.
You are hard to hate, right? And I said that so I started Hard to Hate Me in August. August 16th was our first show. We started on Sunday, brunch time, 1 p.m. Now we're at night, and I am loving the night vibe. I am loving the TED Talk energy that you gave.
Yes.
Okay. I am loving the connection that you listen.
Okay.
Purpose.
Yeah. The purpose is.
I'm loving the engagement. I'm loving the questions. I'm loving the.
Yes, I love the interaction.
Yeah,
I love that.
We love the energy you have, honey. This boss energy. Honey.
I'm trying to get a new cycle.
Okay.
Because you know what? I am shedding the idea of that whole boss stuff, right? Because I'm considering myself an entrepreneur now because I have all these ideas. And I like to pick up on people's soldier energy. Okay, what you gonna go with? You know what I mean? But that takes. Before I can get soldier energy, I have to figure out, what is it gonna take to motivate you? Because that's where it's at. I'm not saying that I can fulfill, you know what I'm saying? But when you think about some conversation like this, where you're not Caribbean, this is a Caribbean station. You're not from the Caribbean. You're not from the Caribbean, right? But what equalizes us? The fact that we like genuine people. We want to live our authentic lives. We want to be proud about where we come from and our journey. Pride is what's equalizer. Do I need to know what you're proud of, or I need to know that when you show up, you're gonna be turned?
That's it.
Because you have that just
That's
Tiffany's like,
Come turn.
you gonna get this backyard.
Okay.
You're gonna get that.
Listen, the whole backyard.
And what you tell me today, you're like, oh, I'm putting on a boot today, honey.
Okay.
I put on a boot.
A boot.
Because it's the type of day they need a boot.
You need a boot.
It's-
Sometimes you need a boot.
Dress up at home because I feel like we put our stuff up, but if you don't wear a bra, that's totally cool because I don't wear it anyway. But if you want to get dressed up this holiday season, it's obvious that I just don't. So, but if you want to just get dressed up at home, do it. Like, just do what makes you happy, and if nobody gets it, it's whatever. So that's what I'm on.
When I was supposed to go to Grenada, and my flight got canceled, of course, due to COVID. The time that I was supposed to be in Grenada, I wore bathing suits in the house. Of course, XYZ, shout out to XYZ Kayla's brand. She was testing out new inventory. And I posted a picture of myself in a bathing suit, reading a book and stuff, planning stuff. And people were like, what the hell are you doing? Listen, I'm going to get this Grenadian vibe one way or the other, honey.
Listen.
I'm supposed to be on the beach
Me
today.
too.
Today.
I think August 9th was supposed to go. Son. I'm sad about it, but it's okay.
And we needed to be there, so it's but that's, again, realizing who carries the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Is it you or are you going to the vibe? You going to get the vibe or are you the vibe?
And we would catch your
Right.
vibe. Like if I saw her and your vibe was already on it, I would have gravitated towards you.
So
no
let
problem.
me give you a
No
nice
problem.
formula. 954. You are the vibe. What you charge to is the energy, right? The energies will ask you, okay, I need you to look at what the moon is highlighting, because over the water, over yonder, which is something that you ain't really planning on looking at, it's kind of shimmering, which is the Christmas lights, which is what you spend time doing. You spend time decorating.
They're nice too, y'all.
Right?
Yeah, they're good.
And I do mindfulness, right? That's my my spiritual practice. Part of my spiritual practice is mindfulness, and it talks about papancha. And papancha is just all the stuff that you layer and decorate and all this stuff, right? And without judgment, you have to look at all the things that you decorate. Without judgment. What is it? And because part of that decoration is you just trying to deal with it. So that's what these conversations are about. If you are making uncomfortable things comfortable to talk about, whether it's the setting or with people, with people who I have access to. People, when I talk to you, the stuff that we talk about, it's people wouldn't even, when I talk to you,
Right.
I appreciate that. Why? Because you never know. You have to see who you connect with. You have to see what is driving your life purpose, because you're an ideal client. You're driven, you know your worth. Sometimes you can't always pick a battle to fight for it, because then the only thing in the bathroom when you go in and try to punch that effing thing, you know what I'm saying, is saying I am, just because they don't see it, just because whatever they feel is invisible in me doesn't mean that it's not visible or unknown. Are you uncertain about who you are?
No,
Are
straight
you
up.
uncertain about your black girl magic?
Straight up black
Come on
girl magic.
now. Are you
Okay.
uncertain
Come on.
about your black? Come on now.
Absolutely not.
Come on, you're mixing pictures about it.
Okay. Listen.
You're healing yourself.
Amen.
Who's
Hashtag.
doing
And
that?
me when I get my
And so that's why we can't cancel the year that woke us up.
Ever. The year was good.
It wasn't bad for
I mean,
everybody.
it wasn't. Now I'm not going to say good because good is relative, but I had some
But this
great.
is good music, good time. So good,
Well, yeah,
we're gonna
good,
assume
good.
positive, as in it worked for you.
Yes.
Either it worked you saw why and agreed with it, or you worked it.
Worked it. I had to. There was too much to happen. That happened for me to not work it.
Right.
Still working it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Couple
It's-
more weeks left
we
to
ain't
work
too quick to get
Yo,
to
2
destination,
weeks, we can do
y'all.
a lot.
All right.
it. Okay.
We're about to bang it out. 2 weeks
What are
left.
your plans for New Year's?
I don't need
To
that.
be a whole vibe.
Listen, I dress up in my house. So,
Listen.
again, formal wear is required.
Hey.
This
Black
is the
tie.
intention. I want to, whatever,
do
not
it.
even New Year's, but could you imagine having a life where I have a closet of just formal, big old Andre Talley type gowns.
Just to just.
Yeah, this-
Oh, what
Yeah,
am I
look
going
like
to
I'm
wear
steaming.
today?
Right,
I'm
right.
looking like I'm steaming. You know them steaming gowns. Stop.
Well, he was.
Not the only Steve again.
Sorry.
He likes those. I don't
Listen, petty to professional, honey.
Okay.
Petty to professional to me, and I don't mean to take your thing. It means using what was typically like, you know, and like.
You can also be
You know what I'm
professionally
saying?
petty.
You go from to
Yeah.
That's been 2020.
That's gonna be my motto.
for me.
I'm gonna try to do that just for the next 2 weeks though. 'Cause
What?
Just
2 weeks is a
petty,
lot.
petty professional.
2 weeks is
But
long as a
I might be
small
petty
goal,
again on
small act,
2021.
small act.
Listen.
2 days. How about the next 2 days?
Okay. Tonight.
Can you extract some no, let's chop it down. This is how this is an evidence of how I am as a coach. Giving yourself 2 weeks is a lot. Giving yourself 2 days is okay, but your 2 days we want to just look at your pettiness. You consider yourself petty, or you know whether it's a universal agreement. You know that was petty.
Right.
Because the group chat said so.
Right.
Because you know
Right.
what governs our life sometimes.
Right.
It is the group
It's
chat.
the group chat. What the group chat say.
Again, your intentions about how you want to feel. So if you know what brings out that pettiness, it is a feeling. So just look at that's how much we want to go back into the.
I said I was gonna try to be better. I literally said
But
that
what
today.
is better? Not being petty is no. It's okay. It's not being petty for 2 days to measure. Is that your goal?
Well,
because we can help you get there.
No. I'm not even gonna try. I'm
So
not gonna lie to
trying say,
myself.
you're not trying to give up your pettiness, which is I love, because the pettiness works sometimes. It's a
good.
survival
Being petty is
mechanism.
good.
Because if you're not petty, you're like, wow, you really think I ain't see that?
Right.
But I'm professional
Let's see,
petty,
too.
right? So I'll send the email.
That's why
But I won't
it's
put my name
about-
on it. Like I don't put my name. I don't put my signature. Any of that. I don't like you. So like I answer the question and nothing. But I know if you're in my work.
But in your industry,
You
know
know.
it's a diss.
You know it.
Again, get in your digs, right?
And do them well.
It's 9:59. This is
We did
Hard
it.
to Hate Me. We really appreciate talking to you guys. We love you.
Thank y'all for the questions.
I
and
know,
the
that was fun.
conversation. That was like everything.
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 Get plenty fast. Get plenty of rest fast. Okay? Take a step back. It's okay. The next step that you take could be backwards, as in how you attach yourself, what you go towards without vetting or asking questions or even trying to find a way to get more information. Like, buy yourself some time. Don't let nobody force you into the binary of deciding now when COVID done gave you 10 months. We love y'all. Big shout out to GMGT family. Mixed Cow.
Yes,
Facebook.
I had a great time.
Tiffany and Swan.
Thank you, Camille. Yes, it was great.
Hey.
We are the reason you get written up or worse, fired. Good music, good times. Where the culture lives. Burning up your bandwidth. We are the best in entertainment online, period. Good music, good times. Where the culture lives.
Good music, good times.
One good thing about music, when it is
Good music, good times. Delivering the best.